Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another Silo review. Today, we are
Mm,
going to take a look at Silo Season 2, Episode number 9, The Safeguard.
mm.
IMDb actually gave this one, what is it, a 8.7. Finally,
That's
we're
too
out of the
low.
sevens. That's still too
That's too
low.
low.
That's
That's
still too
way
low,
too
dude.
low.
That's like, come on. I mean, it's just like, okay, this is episode number 9. And
Mm,
what I've noticed with Apple TV series, right? Dude, they go
mm.
all in like for the last 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, the last episode is gonna be bonkers. It was good 'cause I think she's gonna go back to the silo then,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be yeah. I think they're gonna come back and save the kids and bring them over to 18. That's what I think's gonna happen.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I
so the
think
way
that
it
because
starts.
if she shows up, that changes reality for everybody inside the silo.
But
Because they're
but
like,
do
"You can survive."
mhm. But do they open the door? That's what we keep asking ourselves
But
this.
here's the thing. She's been gone for like 3 days, right? It hasn't been that long, but it's long enough to be like, "Yo, what in the hell happened?" So if she goes up to the door and they see her face, that everybody's gonna be watching that. You can't hide that. You
Oh,
can't stop
okay.
talking about it.
Right. You can't hide it, but will they let her in? You think Bernard is gonna let her in?
I think he has no choice. We're talking about riot. If she walks up to that gate and they see her face on the thing, people are going to lose their minds. They have to let her in because the whole place is going to erupt.
Mhm.
Like they have to open that door. They have to
Yeah.
let her in. There's no way they
So
can't.
so the way this episode started out was sort of like they were backtracking, like, okay, this is how it happened. This
Mhm.
is how the kids found
Yeah, from their
Jules.
perspective,
Right, exactly. And then they were basically saying that Solo killed their parents, and I'm just
which
like,
is wild.
really? Okay, so, but,
Mhm.
you know, this whole thing, right? It was really, a lot of it was concentrated on Silo 17 and also what Lucas was doing. And then,
Mhm.
you had Bernard and his goofiness. And then,
Yeah, he's watching. Yo, he's watching. Like, there's a video. Like, what's funny today? He got
I mean, like,
popcorn.
he's like the whole thing of like just sitting down in this room. That's the room
Mhm.
Sims was talking about. He has a 18 key on his joint, and then when he goes into the server room, that's the room he's going
This
into.
server room.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's going in there to watch all the cameras.
he's going in there, at least going in there to watch people, dude. I mean, like, he
Mhm.
has no life. I guess the only sort of real sort of intimate connection he may have had was with
That's the judge, Judge
Meadows, the
Meadows.
judge, and I'm just like, this
Yeah.
guy, I mean, that's why he drinks a lot too. So you know what? Here's the
Yeah.
thing with Bernard though. Like let's hit up Bernard. So
Mhm.
I think that Knox, he knows that Walk is the rat. He knows that. And
You think
so
Knox knows that? I don't think
yeah,
Knox knows that Walk is the rat.
oh yeah, he
You
came
think
and
he
he
knows?
listen, he said
No,
to
because he said it was the other kid's mother.
dude, that was
But you think
cold.
you think
That
that's the
was
smoke
cold.
screen? Just
That was
to
cold for real. That was cold. He knew
That's
that. He
interesting.
figured it all out. He was like, okay, so she can't leave. Okay, so check this out. She can't leave her
Mhm.
apartment at all. Billings
Mhm.
said you can't leave. Not Billings. I mean Bernard was like, you can't leave here, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So they can communicate, I guess like through that computer, but
Mhm.
Knox, he's been doing this, man. He knows what's going on. So he's like, you know what? Deductive reasoning, it's her, and they probably have the camera on. So he was feeding her code, like, you know what, Todd, yada, yada,
That's
yada,
interesting.
just to
That's
throw off,
interesting.
like,
Okay.
Bernard, and Bernard was like, oh, listen, think about this here, right?
Mhm.
That's too easy. It's too easy
Yeah,
for,
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're
right?
right.
You know what I'm
Because
saying? It's too
he said that
easy.
she was by the barricade when all this
Hmm.
stuff happened. And
Right.
you're right. He's Knox, and this is why I like this show because the people on the show are not stupid,
Yeah.
and it makes it makes shows in general more enjoyable when the people are they have deductive reasoning, they're logical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, like
Hmm.
Lucas, he's got deductive reasoning. He figured a lot of stuff out that we're yelling at the TV, and Lucas is like, all right, you know what? I think about this. Like I like that. And he makes it an interesting character. And Knox
Hmm.
is not dumb. All right, so you're right. That very well could be a possibility
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
Knox figured it out, and it's like he figures that she's being watched right now, so he's trying to talk to her in
Uh,
code.
And here's the
So
other
that
thing.
that's possible.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Walk actually knows too, because when he was saying it was Todd or whatever, Walk was
Mm.
like, oh, he's saying exactly what happened to me and Carla, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
yeah,
using
yeah,
totally two different names. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So he
yeah. And then she
basically
sat
told
down. I
her,
think she's looking at it like, oh
yeah,
no,
exactly. She knows exactly. She was basically saying, okay,
that's a
he
good
knows.
point. All right, I
So I
like
was
that.
just
That's a
like,
good point.
I was like, oh, okay. So this is because again,
Mm,
there are some things in this show that are just like complete layups. Like for
mm.
instance, like when the rope like came loose and it like fell down, that was a complete layup. It was like
Yeah,
completely
yeah, I knew that
obvious.
another person cut it. That's
Exactly.
obvious.
So another person
Mm,
cut it. So I was like, wow. But
mm.
so Bernard, man, he's about to lose. You think he's about to lose everything?
The whole silent. Well, if Juliette comes back, yeah, he's done for her. I don't know how he survives being the leader or mayor if Juliet walks through that door.
He
How can that be? You can't, man. That cannot be done. You
oh,
cannot survive that
okay.
because you're sending everybody out, and then people know about the tape, even though they're playing dumb about the tape.
Mhm.
People know about the tape. They know her tape was special. So people down south, the lower decks, they know about the tape. Her tape is special, and they know that she's been out for like 3-4 days. I would say at most 3 days, and she's been gone. And so from their perspective, they don't know about the other silo. They think she's been walking around for 3 days surviving. That looks
Outside.
crazy.
Right. Mhm.
That looks great because basically everyone wants answers, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, you
Mhm.
can see it. It's bubbling over. Everyone's like, "Oh no!" Because all the wives are like, "Look at this paper. It's got they got flowers in the stuff and bushes. We gotta go outside." All the wives are telling their husbands, "We gotta do that." So this is what I'm saying. It would be an absolute riot if they don't let her in, and then she has to talk about what the hell's going on outside. And so that instantly, no matter what she says, they're gonna believe her. So if she says, it's burnt out, whatever, but
Mhm.
there's another silo, and maybe we should work together and help this other silo get another feet, like that's a big deal. Like this thing could go in so many different ways, and not necessarily from the books, but just in general. Like there's a lot of stuff you can add to the show now if you have two silos and
Right.
you acknowledge that two silos exist.
See, I still can't get over the fact that how does Bernard let her back into the silo? I mean, like, here's the thing, right?
And
Here's the
she
thing.
walks on camera, and people are sitting down in the room or the
Mhm.
galley or wherever they're eating food, and they see her walk up to the door. They have to let her in. There's no way they can't let her in. You can't stop it. It's too late.
Well, I mean, okay, I understand that, right? And I know we're just like going around
Mm,
in circles, but
yeah.
you know, he's already experiencing a rebellion. I'm
Yeah.
air
But I'm
quoting that.
saying 'cause
I'm air
that
quoting that
sucker
right
is gonna
now.
ramp up till 12
Right.
and
Okay.
immediately.
But and she's sort of like a martyr at this point. They think, a lot of
Yes.
people think
That's
she's
why
okay.
they have to open the door. Everybody's gonna be like, yo, let this chick in
Okay,
right
but
right
if you
now, or we're
do
gonna burn
open
this
the
place
door,
down.
then all hell breaks loose, right?
Yes, 100%.
Right.
You can't stop it.
If you don't open the door, you have the raiders to, keep things tight.
You don't have enough raiders and you have enough bullets. It's gonna be bad. Look at the other silo, Silo 18. They didn't have enough raiders. They didn't have enough bullets.
Yeah, 17
They
went
ran
crazy.
out. 17. They ran out of
Excuse me.
bullets and ended up opening the door and they couldn't do anything about it. That's what's gonna happen here. If
Mhm.
if Bernard is like, yeah, we're not opening up the door. Juliet can stay outside. That is not gonna go well.
Yeah.
That is
So
that is not gonna go well.
so now let's get to Billings and Sims. So they may have a
I like
connection now.
Sims more than ever before. I like him a lot now.
I think I may have to agree with you, dude, for real. I think I may have to agree with you because he
Mm.
like I think his wife put a little battery, turned on a little
That's a
battery in
giant.
him.
That's a
Mhm.
double A, double
Yeah,
D
like
battery in there.
for real,
That's a
right?
car battery she put
A
in his
9
back, right?
volt, the old school. But just to say, like, listen, How about
Mhm.
just think about some of these things? Don't just take all this stuff for granted, what people are telling you. And so he's starting to get
Mhm.
that, and now he actually is getting it, right? So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
basically can't do what Billings want him to do, but his wife was
Mhm.
like, I'll do it. And I'm just like, what is it? I mean, like, we got one episode left, dude, so a lot is gonna happen next week.
Oh yeah, and then season 3. Woo. How long do you think this show could go for?
Well,
With the original writer helping them out, how long could this thing go for?
okay, well, if we're talking about 2 seasons and we're still in book one with 2 seasons, right?
Yeah, I think we're like book 1. Yeah, mostly book 1. We're still in
Okay,
based
so
on some of the stuff that's happening.
when we watched The Expanse, each season was based on a book,
Yeah.
with the exception of the 3 they didn't do, which is completely dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, everyone's got to get old though to do those shows. Everyone has to be old. It's got to be like
yeah,
20 years from now.
but now you have their kids running things, right? But
Mm.
so I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, so Billings is starting to. He's like, okay, I'm on the other side because,
Mm.
like I told you last week, it's like, okay, I understand that you're all about the law, but what is the
Mhm.
law? What is it? What is it exactly?
Mhm.
Is it true? Why are you defending it? Why aren't you? And
Mhm.
Bernard made a very good point when he said, like, Sims, you're not curious enough for me, right? You know how to get things done,
Sim
right?
getting curious is a problem, right?
Yeah,
I'll put it like that. That's a
Billings
very
is
big problem.
curious. Billings is curious. So I'm just like, I don't know what he
Mhm.
told like Sims, but I know we're gonna find out next week. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
Oh, for
like,
sure.
I'm like,
I'm
okay,
excited, man.
wow, yeah,
I'm excited. I like this show a lot. I'm
this is
excited.
crazy. Now, if we talk about Knox
Mhm.
and Walk, because again, I think that Knox was like, yo, you know what? This is what's going on. So I think Knox is setting up Bernard right at this point, right?
It could be
Mhm.
like an eighth degree chess move right here. Like
I
it could
mean,
be.
you know what
I
I'm
know he's
saying?
not dumb, and he understands that the streets are watching. People are watching what they're doing and saying. He knows
Mhm.
that, especially because the Raiders got captured. He knew that like something's going on. There's a snitch going on downtown. So I think the odds are high that
Mhm.
your theory is correct. That these feeding fake lines to see what happens. Because like because the gunpowder thing,
Yeah.
you can't let that slide because them having gunpowder is bad for everybody. Like,
Right. Mhm.
so if they run in there asking for gunpowder, he's gonna know exactly what happened. Like,
Right. Exactly. So I think this sort of storyline where it's going. I think again,
mhm,
Walk knows that she screwed up. She even, like, when she became emotional to the
yeah,
fact that you know she doesn't know what's going on, or she wants to get back to Carla. I think that right
mhm,
there also was just like, oh, okay, she's the snitch, just based on what she
mhm.
was saying, her emotions and everything else. So we know what's going to happen. We know next week is going to be crazy. I hope this is like a 2 hour show for real, right? It's going to be
Yeah,
crazy,
but this
dude.
this show was pretty long. It's like a full hour.
It's a full hour, dude, for real.
Yeah, yeah, it felt pretty long too. I was like a movie.
So check this out. So if we pivot over to Shirley and
Mhm,
Lucas just, it was like he read something from all of his research that said the tunnel, right?
mhm, yeah,
And so he was like, hey, it's down here. Where else would a tunnel be, right?
yeah, yeah. It's got to be on the low. Right?
Right,
It's
uh-huh.
got to be down deep down.
So, and he found the tunnel, and he also realized that the water wasn't like, it's, you can walk in it, which is kind of cool, right? What do
I
you
I think that
Mhm.
tunnel leads to another silo. That's what
I
I
was
think.
about to ask you, like, so when you again, I'm getting like, dude, I'm getting chills, goosebumps, just because when he walked up to that huge door and then that voice just came over, I was just like, whoa,
Mhm,
that joint, like, that was the scariest moment or the thing that chilled me
mhm.
out, like, in
Yeah,
this whole
yeah.
like series. And I was like, is now, I don't know if it's
Mhm.
AI, and I don't know if it's actually
I
someone who's
I think it's
watching,
AI. I think
from a totally different silo who has power. And because he
yes.
said, the person who was speaking said there's only 3 other people
Mhm.
who were able to find this door. It was
Yeah.
Quinn, it was Meadows and it was George.
Meadows immediately started drinking after
Right,
that. She's like,
exactly.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah. And the other guy died.
George,
Well,
right? That
both
was
the two guys died, and
right.
Meadows drank.
Yeah,
So
and
it's a huge revelation that there's a door down here and
or
it leads somewhere.
right, exactly. George was Jules' boyfriend, right?
Yes,
Ex-boyfriend.
Joe's boyfriend. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So whatever, this voice is gonna tell Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, man, I'm getting chills even thinking about it, man. Come
Well,
on.
what is this? What do you think the safeguard is?
I think, when I was looking at this episode and they were talking about the safeguard, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that came to mind was the safeguard was to safeguard the other silos, right?
Okay.
So that means that, yo, if your silo goes like bonkers, the safeguard
Mm-hmm.
is to just like release the hounds and you guys can just go at each other. We'll just like shut
Okay.
this silo down. Everything else is popping. The whole key in terms of this series is for individuals not to know that there are other things around them. Like other sort of
That's
silos
a huge
around them.
factor. Is that you're not supposed to know there's other silos.
Exactly. So the safeguard could be
Mm-hmm.
like, well, you now know, you can't tell anyone else, but if you do, we're just going to release the hounds and silo 18 is going to be a dead silo like silo 17. What do you think? What do you think the safeguard
That's
is?
interesting. That's a good argument. I think maybe the safeguard is to lock the door so they can't, because you can't. What we don't know if he's going to try and open that door or if he's just going to go back upstairs to go back to the upper levels after that. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't know. So I think here's the thing: when you get this far and then a voice starts talking to you, you can't just let that be. But the other thing is
No.
too,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think those other people knew that there's AI in the silo.
No one knew.
They
Only
didn't know.
like the shadows in IT.
I don't think. Well, Meadows maybe because she was a shadow, but she was shadow of IT. She wasn't shadow of the mayor.
Mm.
So maybe Meadows knew, and that's why she started drinking, and everybody else, the other two guys died. Because what happened with what's the other guy? They basically started the revolution, and they said that he's what's the guy's name?
Quinn, Salvador Quinn.
Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn, yeah. So they turned him out to be the villain for everybody else, but he's the hero because he saved the silo.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, man. Honestly, it could be that they release the thing and make everybody forget. That's possible. That's the safeguard.
Well, they've been doing that and
That's the
it hasn't
thing.
been working. They've been like,
Yeah, but
putting
no,
that in
it
people's
hasn't been the
drinks.
whole silo gets memory erased for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't been the case.
Mm.
But
Wow.
anything's possible, right? Because if you tell more people about it, it's better to go down instead of up. Because you don't need a suit. You can just dig to the next thing or open a door to the next thing. Like it's safer for them to go down instead of up to find more clues.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So shoot, man, I don't know. I would say maybe they're gonna make everyone forget. That's my theory about what the safeguard is.
Release the
But I don't know,
gas.
man.
It's just like gas being released throughout the whole silo and whatnot. Man, this is gonna be crazy.
Maybe they got raiders down there with guns, and they're like, "Yo, you open this door, we're gonna shoot you. Close the door back up." That's the end of that.
Man, I cannot wait to find out what this thing is gonna say to Lucas. It's gonna be crazy. So if we go back over to Silo 17 with Audrey, Audrey just completely irritated the mess out of me.
I can't stand that chick.
It's like
with the bow and arrow. Oh my god, yo, you're not Rambo. Relax.
Audrey, at this point, for me, there is no comeback for Audrey. It's like you're like 12, you're like 15 to 17 years old. And I mean, you have a baby. I don't know how you're obviously older. I'm assuming you're like at least 18 years old.
She's got to be 17, 18.
Yeah,
she's got to be in that range.
So
we're gonna say politically correctly.
Right.
She's of age. The other guy's of age, and it's legal and whatever.
And you don't have a problem killing people? Come on, what's up with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, she got blood in her eyes because her parents died. But, okay, I get that. But like, you guys are starving. You're like, you should be like, let's come together. Like,
they're literally eating rats. Literally eating rats.
You're eating mice and stuff to survive. And this guy's got ice cream. Like, yo, let's work this out.
And here's the stupidity of it as well, and
Mhm.
we bug out like when we talk about like screaming kids and like movies. She was the screaming kid, right? She was the annoying
Yes,
screaming
I
kid,
agree a hundred
right?
percent.
So it's just
A
like
hundred.
as a person, you're 18 years old, 17 years old, whatever, even 2022, your brain hasn't
Mhm.
like completely formed, developed. You can't like, you deductive reasoning isn't there yet. You just don't have those things as an 18, 17, 18-year old, right? So
Yeah.
she knows that there is food in the vault, but she
Mhm.
wants to kill the person, the only
Who can open the
person who
door for the
can get
vault?
in. Dude, that's what I'm talking about with a bow and arrow.
And then her logic is, well, we'll figure out the number. No, you won't.
No,
Your parents are smarter than you. You don't have any reasoning. You're
exactly.
walking around with a bow and arrow in a dead silo. Like, come on, man. You don't have any reasoning.
Like,
You're
eating
dumb.
rats, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right? Like,
and we know that, and we know her boyfriend or whatever, I'm like, oh, okay, they're together, they're a couple.
that dude is soft as
He's
marshmallows,
soft as
right? Yeah, I
anything,
was
man.
thinking,
Come
hey,
on, it's
yo,
just like, dude,
that
really?
dude is soft.
This guy is like completely soft. I was like, oh my goodness, man. But
Hmm.
he got some balls like later on. He was like, no,
Eventually,
no, no.
it's like, relax yourself, man. Like, eventually the ball's figured it out. But, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
We
Ah,
have
man.
one episode left. This is like, dude, they like Apple didn't like do the okey doke with like just 6 episodes. They gave us 10
Mhm.
episodes.
They give it
Most
10.
most of them were an hour, right?
Hmm.
So now we are at episode number 10. We have one episode left, and man, I am super excited. I hope this is a 1.5 hour episode. And
Hmm.
it has, you know what? It can't be just an hour because there's too much going on. You have too many storylines. You got to bring them all together and give us like a really great sort of like, cliffhanger, right?
Yeah, they're cooking right now. Like,
Yeah.
anything's possible, honestly.
Yeah. So we will see. We are talking
Mhm.
about Silo Season 2, Episode number 9, The Safeguard. Keo, what are you going to rate this?
Just 10. Just stop, man. 10.
10.
Just
10
100%
for me
10.
too. 10 for me too.
I'm not even worried about it.
10
Next
for.
week's episode is going to be another 10. I can call it right now. It's going to be a 10. Based on the last 4 episodes, this is going to be a
Mhm.
10. Easily.
Okay. So check this out, right? This
Hmm.
episode, like last episode and Descendant, so that's 3 episodes. Amber Templemore. She
Hmm.
did this episode again. She did this episode as well as
Hmm.
last week. So, like I was saying with last week's episode, it was just a really good pushing the story forward sort of episode.
I like
That's what
that. That's what
that's
you're
what this
supposed to
episode
have.
did. It was just like,
Mhm.
okay, these are the things that we're setting up for the season finale. And man, I was
Mhm.
like, I like her, man. I like Amber Templemore. I'm like, I like her style. She is
Mhm.
really good. But yeah, this joint is a 10, man. I mean, again, I gave some episodes early on, like a 9, a 9.5, but I'm revising
Mhm.
that. Thus far, for me, we reviewed 9 episodes. All 9 episodes are a 10 for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's been fire, man. The show's been cooking right now.
And we've been doing
I'm not
this
even mad.
for like over 3 years, maybe 4 years. We've
Mhm.
never, ever, ever given a series tens
A
across the
bunch of
board,
10s. You're right.
right?
You're right. This is the first one
Like
that, the
all
whole season's been
episodes are 10,
10s.
right? So it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa, this joint is like, and so the reason why I say that is because there is absolutely no way that
Mhm.
the season finale isn't
I'm
going to
not even
be
worried about it. This
100.
is this is
This
the
joint
crazy
is going to
part.
be
I'm not
100.
worried about it.
Yeah, it's going to be
I don't know
100.
what
Come on.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but whatever it is
It's
gonna
going
be
to be
solid. It's
fire.
gonna end
Yeah.
on a cliffhanger of all
Yep.
cliffhangers.
Hmm.
And I'll be looking forward to season 3.
I love it,
100%.
man.
Not even worried about it.
This show is awesome, man. Well,
Mhm.
there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.